See, I have no way of knowing if we're actually live. It says that we're live, but I don't believe it. Should we just trust it, Lewis?
We are in a liminal space of live.
Are you watching the live stream? Are we actually live? Is anyone watching the live stream? Do we even know what's going on around here? Lewis? You're normally watching the live stream?
Well, I have to open the tab then I have to find it, so just give me a moment here.
I'll do it.
So very exciting.
I've got it right.
I'm always afraid I'll fall into it.
No.
It seems like it could be dangerous.
Yeah, we are live. We're live.
There we go. We're almost.
And we're live. Do you
remember that show? Almost Live? Did you ever watch that?
No.
You never heard of it?
Maybe it was a local thing.
I'm not
even going to ask Griffin if you've heard of Almost Live, because certainly you have not heard of it.
I can't say I have.
Yeah, okay.
So Almost Live was like a Saturday Night Live.
It was like a local Saturday Night Live here in the Pacific Northwest, in the Seattle area. They had like this team of like, local thespians, if you will, and they would do like these skits and stuff. And it was actually pretty popular. In fact, one of the people that was on Almost Live, Bill Nye. Bill Nye the Science Guy. That nickname actually came out of a sketch that they were doing because he was talking about some science thing, and they're like, "Who are you, Bill Nye the Science Guy?"
And it stuck. Because in fact, he's not a scientist. I think he might have a background in engineering, but he was a thespian, Lewis, a thespian.
Yeah, with John Keister.
John Keister. And
Almost Live, 1999 on KING.
Dude, they had some great sketches. They had this one called the High Five and White Guys. And it was just like these 5 guys going around Seattle, getting really excited about stuff that most people don't care about. And their enthusiasm would boil over into like give these enthusiastic high fives with each other. It's great. All right, we got Brad Mac Pro here. It's in the name. We got Pablo Ortiz. We've got Betty Reyes, David. Can I call you David? Davey Lynch. We got James Well. We got Steve. We got Neko. Well, Airphone is heard twice. Oh, what? The other guys are not. We've got Neko. Let's see here. Let me dial out the echo. We've got an echo. We've got an echo. Now that is strange. Because we should not have an echo. So thanks for letting me know. Let's go in here and see what in the heck is going on. Still got an echo. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. How about... Whoops. How about now? Is the echo still there? Last stall in the bathroom? I don't know what that means, and I'm not sure what to ask. Is the echo still going? Still. Okay. Un momento. Lewis does not have one. Okay. That's good to know. WTH. I have to admit, I'm actually not sure why we have an echo. Because we should not have an echo. Let's see here. Let me see if it's a problem with my mic. Output. Stream. Yep, that's right. Lewis, do you have any great stories that you can tell us while I try to fix this problem?
I'm mesmerized by hearing you not once, 3 times, because I hear you on the Skype call, and I also hear you twice on the other ones. That's 3 times the Earth.
Some would argue that just one is more than enough.
Yeah.
Many have made that argument.
Like, possibly a heroic dose of Airphone.
I think I may know what's going on. I think you guys are... Here, let me be quiet. Tell me if you guys can hear this snap.
No. I hear nothing.
Can you guys hear anything?
Who, me? And I don't hear anything.
Or anyone in the stream.
Yep. Snap. You guys can hear the snap? Could you hear that?
Oh, yeah. Tapping.
Is that it? Okay. I know the problem is. Give me one moment here, gents. Lewis, tell a story. Do something, Lewis.
The other day, I was walking down the street, and the road was damp, and I slipped on the metal cover, and I fell right on my arm and leg.
Ow!
Wasn't that a great story? It's true.
Is it true?
Very true.
I have a fascinating story in a similar vein. This is an embarrassing story of how I hurt myself. When I let my dogs outside, especially since I moved out here where I have like this big, great flat lawn, I never know what's going to happen as to whether my dog, Indy, is going to walk 5 feet and pee on the porch or bolt out as fast as she possibly can and like drag me 10 feet behind her on the leash. And so she decided the other day she was going to run. So I'm running there too. I'm wearing my gray slacks, which have, kind of loose fitting pockets.
It sounded like you said slacks there. Did you say slacks?
Yeah, pants, whatever.
Did that fix it, by the way?
Pants. Carry on then.
I wanted to reach down and feel in my pocket whether my phone was in my pocket, just to like confirm that I didn't like leave it inside or that it wasn't falling out. And the jostling motion as I was running was so great that like my thumb hit the corner of my phone and like seriously bruised my thumb.
Phone injury.
That alone.
That's rare.
Yeah. Which just goes to show that phones are too damn big and heavy these days. I want a mini phone.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. The next iPhones are going to be like 150% bigger than the ones that we have now. It's funny, like this Max, it felt just massive and ridiculous, clownish when I first got it, but now I've gotten used to it, and I don't actually feel like it's that big. What do you feel like, Lewis? Because you got the Max too, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I've been carrying it around with a case on it, like I did when I was traveling overseas, and I was just back in Ohio for a week, so I did there too, because I was doing ridiculous things, work, fixing things and whatever, and I don't know. I feel like at my house it's safe. When I take it out of the case, it doesn't feel too big. When I put it in the case, it feels gigantic. I don't understand why, but there's something about having a case on this thing that just makes it feel completely unwieldy. But take it out, and it feels just fine.
I know. Well, it's on the verge of being too big. So if you put the wrong case on there, I have like this case on here. I mean, look how beautiful that iPhone is.
Me too, man.
Oh, you got one?
The ledge. Yeah, that's what I've been using. But it's like it feels like there's like a 1/4-inch lip on the thing. It's crazy.
Well, when it doesn't have the back,
I'm picking up a tire.
What's wrong with picking up tires? That's man's work right there, Lewis. But when you have no back on the back, it has to be thicker around the sides, and it has to have that lip. It is a little unwieldy, I have to say. Definitely makes it thicker, but that's the price you pay to see the back of the phone, Lewis.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I like it without the case, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, you know what?
That's my new. When I'm at home, that's what I'm doing because I like it better that way. It feels
it's scary.
Right in the head.
It's too scary for me. I can't do it.
Live on the edge, man. Live on the edge.
Look, I live my whole life on the edge. You know that about me. I go spelunking every weekend. I climb through those caverns where it's so narrow that you have to literally like grease your body down to get through. But it's $1,000 phone, Lewis, and I don't have Apple Care.
You don't?
No.
Well, no.
Apple Care it's too expensive. I mean, you pay for it, and then you break your phone, and they charge you a big deductible, and so I just don't think it's worth it. I'd rather. Plus, I like this case. I mean, look how beautiful this phone is. It looks like.
Look how beautiful this phone is.
Yeah, well,
even more beautiful
and
less clunky, and also it feels about 20% smaller. I can't explain.
Probably
it.
Is 20% smaller.
Psychological thing. That thing makes it just a huge honking thing, man.
Yeah, it does. Not arguing with you there.
Speaking of injuries,
yeah,
we got a little news. Our own Leander Caney took a spill on a bicycle the other day.
Again? Dude, that thing is going to be the death of him. I hope that's not true. But he's been hit by cars. He's fallen. What happened this time?
He almost got hit by a car. So apparently, I haven't seen this, but apparently in our neighborhood, they've installed a roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
Love roundabouts. Awesome ways to get hit by things.
Well, especially when you're on a bike.
Yeah, and especially when you're in America and nobody knows how to operate in them, right? But so a car almost hit him. He swerved or dodged to not get creamed by the car.
Wow.
I think his front wheel flew off. He fell over. He broke a clavicle.
Wow. He broke a bone.
Yeah, and he hit his head so hard that he split his helmet. And this was last Thursday night.
Wow.
And Friday morning, I'm talking to him in Slack, and he's like, yeah, I did this stuff last night, and my head really hurts, and I think I got a concussion. I'm not sure. And he said, I was thinking about going to the hospital. I said, I'm sorry. You fell off your bicycle.
You broke a
bone.
bone.
You hit your head so hard that you cracked your helmet in half.
Wow.
And your head hurts and your shoulder hurts and you're thinking about going to the hospital. I said, you just go right now, and I don't want to see. I'll do the rest of this garbage today. You go to the hospital. So he did. His brain's okay, or as okay as it was. And
we've never seen a brain like this in our lives, sir, but we don't think that you're injured.
And his shoulder hurts him, and he's got to wear a splint for like 6 or 8 weeks. So
how
he's
do
really
they
bummed out because he can't ride a bike.
How do they even fix that thing?
They can't do anything. I think they just like don't use it is the key.
They just put you in one of those those casts where you walk around like Frankenstein for 2 months.
And so anyway, thoughts and prayers for old Leander.
Thoughts and prayers
on the
for
mend.
old LK. Oh man, well I'm glad that he didn't get seriously injured. I mean, seriously, when I say I worry about him riding that bike around San Francisco. I mean, he's in his elderly days. Jeez. He's not the young LK that he used to be with the long flowing hair, coming here from jolly old England. And he rides that bike around everywhere, and the drivers seems like they're trying to hit him because he just keeps getting hit.
Well, plus, every third driver is high as a kite on marijuana,
including him. So you mix those two things together, they don't know what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know that they've hit him. He doesn't know that he's been hit. I mean, no one knows what's going on. He just goes straight home, and he doesn't even go to the hospital.
Yeah, that was astonishing. But
astonishing,
anyway,
great word.
He's doing okay now. So
okay, look, I think I fixed it. So the problem was I'm trying out a new camera right now, which I have to admit I actually don't love. And the internal microphone was sending signal through HDMI to my capture card along with my mic. So that was what it was. I'm glad that we fixed it. All right. Yeah. Streamline says, I'm sure Leander's sesh mode had nothing to do with this accident. He had nothing at all. Hey, man. Ah! All right. I think we're ready to roll. We got a lot of show to do here, and we haven't even started yet, of course. Extra long pre-show today. I'm surprised there's anyone. The concurrent viewers are way up. Maybe we should just keep doing this stuff. All right, let me cue up Mrs. You-Know-Who. We'll get this thing rolling. Oh, Mrs. D. Mrs. D. I don't want to upset you, but did you hear what happened to LK? Oh, I certainly did, my dear. I've been caring for him night and day. Oh, really? That's so nice of you. Oh, yes. He's not quite as good at making love, but I'm working. Sorry. Lewis. Look, when you're injured, Lewis, you got to take it easy. There's some things that you just can't do right away. So don't worry, Mrs. D. I think that he's going to make a full comeback. And let's just leave it at that. If you don't mind, let's go ahead and get this thing queued up. We're going so bad. Get this thing rolling. And 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Gareth, and Elijah. Join me today when he's not recovering on the couch from a night of playing darts and drinking 12 to 16 beers. You'll find him managing the writing efforts of the CultMac writing staff at the COM World Headquarters. He's the managing editor of CultMac, maybe soon to be just the only editor.
Oh, jeez.
Lewis Wallace.
That's grim.
Just don't get on a bike, Lewis. We need you. Also with us, he's applied for a managerial role at Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompa factory. They like his qualifications, but they're not sure he's orange enough. He's a writer. He's a writer called the back. Griffin Jones is here.
rescinded my application once they showed me the uniforms, which were not button-down black shirts with gray slacks.
You would look terrific in those puffy white pants and the vest. Don't forget about the vest. Few people get to wear a vest to work anymore. Yeah, so for those of you listening, you're wondering why that intro was funny. I don't know what's going on with Griffin's color tone today, but he's looking extra orange. And I commented on that as soon as he joined. I don't know if it's like the light hitting you or the camera is white balance. I actually think it looks quite nice. It looks like you're enjoying like a sunrise or something. But
it's sunset over here in Ohio, but yeah.
It's the golden hour.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is the sun's not actually going down yet over there, is
it? It's 3:30, so it's happening awfully soon.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's the one thing I hate about winter. Same thing. 4:30 here, it's going to be completely dark outside. And we've got 7 days of this terrible darkness before we start reversing course and heading towards what the days get brighter, I think, by 1 minute per day up until June 21st, something like that. I know it's somewhere around that date because around that time, Seattle does the, what do they call it? The solstice parade, I think. And they do a naked parade of people for like 2 days. People on bikes.
2 days?
It might be a multi-day event, but the first day is when they do the first parade. And anyone who wants to join in it can join in it. And it's just thousands of naked people painted, many of which are people that you don't want to see without clothes on. You know what I'm saying, Lewis?
Yes,
especially the ones that really enjoy being nude the most, and they just let it fly.
Right.
Spend hours on their paintings, accessories, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So what did you go as?
Me?
Smurf. Just the blue body paint.
You know me too well. Yeah, Papa Smurf is what they call me. I put on a white hat, little curved white hat, and I paint my whole body blue, and that's it. And then there's the white pointed slippers as well.
I thought maybe Earth the Smurf.
That's what they call me. Have you been there? You seem to know an awful lot about this event.
Yeah, he went as the Blue Man Group.
Wait a second. Were you the blue guy that I met there? And we formed that impromptu Blue Man performance that everybody loved. All right.
Yeah, no.
Can I just start the show by going on a small tangent? Speaking of seeing people naked that you don't want to see. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the show. I'll keep it really brief, I promise. In college, I had an eBay business. And the USPS, the postal man, would show up at my house every day to pick up packages. And he was like in incredible shape. His name was Deck. Dude, this guy was probably like 60. And he was his name was Deck. And this guy was stacked, man. Like he was super buff for an old guy. Like really strong, huge calves. In great shape. Like we always used to joke about Deck because he was like a sexy older man. And he was our postman, right? He would come to our house every day. We'd chit-chat a little bit. I joined a gym, and they have a steam room. And I love going in the steam room. I wish more gyms had them, but not many do. So I look for steam rooms at gyms because there's very few that actually have them. In fact, most people don't even know what a steam room is. You ask for a steam room, and they're like, well, we have like the room with the heat. I'm like, that's a sauna, dude. Totally different thing. So anyway, I'm at the gym after my workout. Just rippled. I've been at the gym for 3 hours, just pumping iron. You know how that goes, Lewis. And I swing open the steam room door, and the light from behind me pours in the steamy, vast steaminess of the room. I see a familiar face, and sure enough, there is my postal worker, Deck, sitting there, totally butt-ass naked. Practically, I'm not going to get too detailed. Let's just say he was very relaxed, arms behind his head, legs sprawled out. And right as I realized who it was, he looks up, and we had a moment of the most awkward eye contact I've ever had in my entire life. You never want to see your postal worker, your UPS guy, the guy who makes you tacos at Chipotle. You never want to see those guys butt-ass naked in a steam room. And from that moment forward, our relationship was never the same. It was extremely awkward from that point forward. because we've been thrust into a situation together that neither of us expected and neither of us recovered from.
Wow.
What gym do you go to, Lewis?
That's quite a show-starting tangent.
All right. Well, we have a lot of stuff to cover with you today. We actually do have some Apple stuff to talk about. Some AirPods news to discuss. Lewis has a great update for the push notification spying story that we did last week. We already have a big update. Apple is planning to try to make your phone theft-proof, essentially, even more than it is. In iOS 17.3, we got a giveaway. Oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. I'm going to have to cut one of these stories out. I just know it.
This is the Tech Regulation and Policy special episode.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. We'll try to make this stuff as interesting as possible. I actually think that some of this stuff is really interesting, but there's no real Apple news to speak of aside from these stories. And then we're going to wrap up with our favorite and, to Griffin's suggestion, worst stuff of 2023. This could be gear, it could be a piece of tech, it could be shows. I mean, it could literally be anything. In fact, I decided yesterday what my pick was going to be. And I think this has gone way under the radar for too long, and it's something that we've talked about in a limited fashion on the show, but I ran head first into this yesterday, and I was like, this is actually really incredible. So we'll talk about it at the end of the show. Before we dive in, let me go ahead and say thank you to, please, let's see if browser mode's working. Oh, thank God. I want to thank Notion for supporting this episode. Notion helps you supercharge your brain activity. If you're somebody that likes to take detailed notes, if you like to write outlines, if you like to track your projects and just be really specific on how everything's going to work, I think Notion is exactly what you've been looking for. In fact, Griffin and I were just talking about how people that he knows that love taking notes, really love taking notes, love Notion because it is a note-taking app mixed with a project management app, mixed with a document repository, mixed with a team wiki. I mean, it just does so much stuff. And what makes Notion different from all these other apps is they have a really powerful AI engine built right in. And if your projects are getting complex, now they have a feature called Notion Q&A that will allow you to have your own custom AI that you could ask questions to, and it will actually scour through your wiki and deliver you an answer. So you don't have to go through your wiki yourself and find out when the deadline is, how you're supposed to build something. All that information can be handed to you directly from Notion Q&A. And Notion AI can now give you instant answers to your questions using information from your wiki, projects, documents, meeting notes. It works across your entire catalog of stuff, so it's incredibly powerful. I use it for a note-taking app, but it's also perfect for teams. You can work collaboratively together on all sorts of projects, documents, wikis, so it's a perfect tool to use with your team. You can try Notion AI for free when you go to notion.com/cultcast. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/cultcast to try the powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show. That is notion.com/cultcast. Give it a try. I think you'll really like it. I've been using it almost exclusively for show stuff for a while now. All right, let's dive right in. First story of the day. You can now buy standalone. Wait, is this the right story? Okay, thank God. Here it is. You can now buy standalone USB-C cases for your AirPods Pro 2, but I don't think you're going to want to because, as you might expect, Apple didn't make it cheap. How much is a pair of AirPods Pro, gentlemen?
$249 list.
$250.
Well, that's the MSRP, but I've seen these things on sale regularly for less than $200.
$199.
$199, maybe even a little bit less. But the AirPods USB-C case, which you could only previously get exclusively with buying a brand new pair of the new AirPods, has just released. Apple wants $99 for that, Lewis. 99 smackers.
Oh, I know.
I think it's steep, honestly. I think it's pretty steep.
We had a big discussion yesterday when this came up yesterday, a big Slack discussion. I wanted the headline to be something like only a sucker would buy a USB-C case for their AirPods. I mean, $99 is a lot of money for a case.
Yeah, but $250 is also a lot for headphones too. And this is like when you buy AirPods Pro, you get 3 things: a left AirPod, a right AirPod, and a case.
That's true.
And this is less than
the
a third
checks out.
of the price of that, you know?
Yeah.
And the case has a lot of technology in it. Like when Apple did this for the original AirPods, when they revised the original AirPods with a wireless charging case, I mean, AirPods then cost like, I think $160, and they sold the wireless charging case for $70, or like $79 or $80, I think. And, you know, which was a greater proportion of the overall cost of the device. And the AirPods 2 case has much more technology in it than that original AirPods case does. It has the USB-C connector. It has the speaker. It has like Find My support, so it has like additional radios in it. It has the little metal loop thing. You know, that adds a fraction of a penny. So
don't forget about the metal loop thing.
It was starting
that
from
bill of materials
$80.
is getting out of control.
Yeah, from $80 to $100.
I heard TC spent weeks negotiating the price of the metal loop thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, I think
that's even there.
I don't think that most people are going to go out and rush out to buy this case, but you know who is going to buy the case? People who have lost their case, people who need a new case because they broke it or something. So I would guess that's going to be the audience that goes out and buys a case for $99 instead of paying for a brand new set of AirPods. Like if you already have AirPods Pro 2 and you just need the case.
People who like USB-C more than they like money.
Yeah, or if you just have so much money that you just don't care. That must be nice. You know, like there's people that like as soon as something comes out, they just buy it because they just have so much money that it's not even worth their time to think about it. They just go out and buy stuff. I'm just noticing that, of course, Griffin, your circle's all cut off weird again.
Oh, jeez.
I could fix it, but I would have to show everyone the sausage again, and we got so many complaints about that last time. They're like, look, we don't want to know how the sausage is made. Just give us the sausage. So maybe we'll just deal with it for now.
I'll be a flat tire circle this week.
Yeah, it's only for the browser mode, so that's good. Your other video looks fine. So I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know why that happened. Well, all right. Well, there you go. Good, maybe a good stocking stuffer if you know someone that really loves USB-C cases or has a broken case. Now you have an option. Let's move on.
Oh, gee, here's a case. Here's a case for your AirPods.
I've gotten worse things, Lewis. I've gotten worse things. My aunt used to give me banana hammock underwear. Would you rather get a AirPods USB-C case or banana hammock underwear?
I guess there's probably a better trade-in value on the case.
Actually, as a Italian travel fan, maybe you're into the banana hammocks. That's a pretty popular look over there, isn't it? We need to hire a PI to follow Lewis to Italy and just snap some telephoto images of him at the beach. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't go to the beach.
No, you just do it around town? Your chain?
Yeah, that's right. Nice spin there. No.
Oh, come on, Luigi. I don't believe that. When in Rome. All right, let's move on and get through all these maybe not so exciting stories so that we can do the exciting stuff at the end here. Should we talk about that push notification story, Lewis, that already has a resolution? It only took a week.
Not really a resolution. It's so government's headline is, of course, Apple makes push notification spying more difficult. Governments will find push notification spying harder to do now that they no longer enjoy easy access to records of push notifications sent to iPhone users. Apple changes policy so that law enforcement and other government agencies need a court order to obtain this data now. So this all came up last week when Senator Roy Wyden sent an open letter to Attorney General Garland, alerting the public to this practice. And what's happening is because your push notifications go through an Apple server, there's a record of all this stored. And so particularly for Apple, this was a problem because Apple, all they required was a subpoena to get this information. Google always required a court order. After this news of this came out, then Apple and Google both, came clean isn't the right way to describe it, but they weren't
allowed to talk about it before this report was public, and then once it was made public, then they could admit that they were doing it.
Interesting. Yeah. Somebody leaked it strategically.
Well, Yeah, open letter. I mean, so that worked out. Apple immediately said, okay, great. Now we can talk about it. We can confirm this is happening. And then, I don't know, within a day or several days, they had already made their policy different so that it's harder to get access to this data. And, it's as mentioned, it's not as sensitive as like text messages, iMessages. iMessages are encrypted end to end. But law enforcement could develop information about you based on these push notifications. What you got, they could figure out where you are. Maybe they sometimes the metadata in a push notification includes text like, "Hi, we'll be at your address at this address in 20 minutes." So it is a good thing that now it's harder for law enforcement to just get a hold of this stuff, from a privacy perspective.
Like, it is possible for more notifications to be encrypted end to end, but a lot of apps aren't done that way. So I took a data processing course in college. It would be trivially easy, even if you only have like basic metadata about the notifications, to piece together who's talking to who, where you are, stuff like that. Like this is
to piece together.
Of,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a terrible thing that's happening.
I thought you were going to say it would be
becoming less terrible.
Trivially easy to protect and encrypt your notifications end to end. So I was like, why aren't they doing it? But it is funny to me that all Apple had to do is just require a court order. Like that was the solution. I mean, look, if there's a court order, there's a court order, right? But why wasn't Apple doing that in the first place?
Yeah, it is kind of a weird question, right? Like why
maybe they
didn't
know that Google was requiring that, and so they didn't know that they were allowed to do that.
Oh, interesting.
That's my theory, but maybe they only changed it since they were called out on it.
This whole gag order stuff, man, I don't know. So it's like you have the government forcing you to do something, but they don't let you talk about it. I don't have warm fuzzy feelings about that, to be honest. I feel like Apple should be allowed to say, "Hey everyone, just so you know, here's how, things are working, and we just want you to know that this might be something you might want to pay attention to." Because if your notifications can be farmed by a government and they can probably learn all sorts of stuff about you, then what's the purpose of having all the privacy built into the iPhone? If all that information can just be pulled from your notifications. Every app that I have sends me notifications about everything. So it seems like they could probably, as Griffin said, piece together most stuff that I thought was private. There's a lot of things I'm trying to hide, Lewis. You know that.
I'm sure.
Not as many as LK. I mean, I don't have an open investigation from the DEA that I know of. But I guess they don't tell you, do they?
Not a secret investigation.
I think this probably matters even more in other countries, being able to pull stuff and get information on people where there may not be as many privacy rules as we have here in the U.S. I don't know. It seems important everywhere. Anything else to add to the story, Lewis, or should we go ahead and just move on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's that much to add to it. It's just an interesting. It was like a weird privacy loophole, and the law enforcement and governments around the world figured out how to do it. And I agree with you. I mean, it is bizarre that Apple had such a low bar for getting that information previous to this. So.
Well, when you're working with a government, I can imagine that you maybe aren't quite sure how to proceed because you don't want to do something illegal. But just saying that out loud, Apple has the best lawyers in the world.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, it's their job to know this, right? So
yeah.
I think one of the more interesting follow-ups to this story from 8 years ago when there was the whole Apple versus the FBI thing. If you don't remember the details, it was like the FBI had this phone. They wanted Apple to write a special version of iOS that would allow them to break into the phone. And the most interesting part of the follow-up to that story is that when Apple executives received that court order, their whole executive team basically holed up in a meeting room and outlined all of every possible response they could have for the next 28 hours until they finally deliberated and came up with their solution to actually push back and fight against the FBI on it.
Wow.
So they take this stuff seriously.
I cannot imagine what Tim Cook's life is like. How could you have a family and be an executive at Apple? The company commands your every moment. all these urgent things that pop up. They don't care if you're asleep. They don't care if you're at a birthday party. You have to figure stuff out on the fly. You react to things instantly. Apple must just be their lives. It's all that they do. I wonder how many of them even have kids. Oh, does Craig Federighi have like a family? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Sorry, my desk started beeping at me. It's time to stand up, but I'm not going to do that now. All right, let's move on. We spoke about this way too long. Lewis, do you want to talk about the giveaway real fast since we are
jump right into it, huh?
Yeah,
sure. Caveat the post isn't live just yet, but it will be soon. This week we're giving away 2 prize packages, and this is a MagEasy iPhone 15 case and a screen protector. 2 winners get to pick whichever combo they want. If you go and I don't know if you can show the MagEasy website there.
I'm on
iPhone. They've got a whole bunch of different cases. Cases with straps, clear silicone cases, cases with flowers, faux marble, crazy geometric designs, rugged, shockproof cases built for maximum protection, all kinds of things. You get to pick whichever one you want. Add a screen protector to it, and if you win, that'll be yours for free.
Nice. They got some nice cases here. I like the sparkle case.
Oh, yeah, the glitter one, too. Oh, glitter.
I really just love glitter, man. I really just love glitter.
Glitter's nice. As always, once this goes up on the website, which, like I said, should be by the end of this day, you just go to the homepage, cultmac.com, scroll down past the video, scroll down to the fantastic giveaway section. You'll see a big headline that says giveaway. That'll be your hint that you're in the right place. Click on that link. You'll find multiple ways to enter. It's always free to enter. There's, you sign up for our great newsletter is usually one of the options. You can a lot of times just visit us or the company we partner with for the giveaway. Maybe just visit the Twitter page or whatever. Rack up as many entries as you want or can. You got a shot.
You got a shot. That's all I'm saying.
If you're nostalgic for the Nintendo Wii wrist straps on the Wiimote, you'll be interested in these cases.
Hey, they help you carry your phone and not drop it when you're trying to take that perfect selfie.
Yeah.
I think this top
keep
one,
it from plummeting into the Grand Canyon.
That could be useful. Just ask Buster Heine. I think this Odyssey M one, this rugged utility case with the strap, would be perfect for prison, Lewis. Because if you got rowdy, he just knocks you right in the face with it, flips it around, puts the strap around your neck, and you're done. Because Prison Lewis doesn't play around. Not when you're trying to make a play for his prison food. He eats it all. Don't even ask. All right, cool. Well, go to cultamac.com, scroll down to the giveaway section, and this will be up, you said tomorrow, Lewis? For people to start entering?
I'm guessing it'll be
maybe even later
today.
So by the time you hear this, it will be up. Cool. Let's keep rolling here. Man, we're cruising through this stuff. I did want to mention this story, even though maybe not the most exciting story, but this is something that I'm following because I think this could affect Apple in a very big way. And that is this lawsuits from Epic Games. Remember they sued Apple and said they had a monopoly, and they lost that case. Let me see here. What did the judge say? The judge said Apple was forced to allow developers to point customers to their own websites to make in-app purchases, which Apple didn't want to allow. But the judge ruled that the App Store was not a monopoly. Well, I didn't actually even know this was going on, but Epic sued Google as well. And Epic won that lawsuit. So the one that Apple lost was the one that they won against Google. And I think it was the same case. And this could have a profound impact on Apple because it could set precedent. And even though Apple won their lawsuit, Epic winning theirs against Google puts Apple in a position where they could be asked to open up their App Store or open up their phones to multiple app stores here in the US, which of course they wouldn't want. Let's see here. Let's go to the story. Epic Games convinced a federal jury that the Google Play Store for Android is an illegal monopoly. The decision might have wide repercussions. Let's see here. Google also kicked Epic out of its software store for the same reason that Apple kicked them out, because they were integrating their own payment system into their app, And of course, neither Google or Apple liked that. And even though a jury decided in Apple's favor in their court case, a jury on Monday decided that the Google Play App Store breaks U.S. antitrust laws by being a monopoly. And this wouldn't just affect Google and Apple. This would also affect Xbox and PlayStation, because those are walled gardens as well. So does PlayStation need to allow alternate app stores like Steam on the PlayStation? I mean, that would be pretty crazy, because they sell those consoles almost at a loss, as far as I understand it, so that they can make money on you when you buy their games. Although Apple won the initial court battle with Epic, the war goes on. The developer is appealing, hoping to get a higher court to reverse the decision and have the App Store declared a monopoly, which now they have some powder, some dry powder in their favor. Monday's jury decision that the Google Play Store is a monopoly could affect how the appeals court thinks about the App Store. If so, I just said this, Apple may end up in the same position as Google in 2024. There's one other part of the story that I wanted to read, that the judge could order Google to open up to other app stores, and there was something else. Oh, and to lower their commission. I don't see how they could do that, but I guess that could be something else that ends up coming out of this. So just something that I think is worth following, because this could have major ramifications in the U.S. if an appeals court, or if this goes even higher, decides that these closed marketplaces are actually monopolies. I don't think they are monopolies in the truest sense of that word, because you can go to Google, you can go to Apple. They run their own stores, but there are other ecosystems that you can be involved in. So I don't think that really is a monopoly in the truest sense of the word, where there's really only one option that you could use. Like if it were only Apple or only Google that existed in the phone ecosystem, then I think it would be a monopoly, but it's not. So
I mean, the thing is that Android, the Play Store isn't the only option on Android. Android does have alternate app stores. That is a thing on Android already.
Oh, really?
I think I read somebody speculating this. I wish I could figure out who said this or where I read it even, but if I find it again, I'll put it in the show notes. Somebody's analysis of this was they think the reason Google lost and Apple won is that Apple is incredibly transparent about the fact that they are the one and only gatekeeper of the App Store. Like, that's the whole deal. Everybody who's making apps already knows that. Google likes to pretend that they don't own Android, that it's this freewheeling garden, and like to a certain extent it is. But the reason the jury sided against Google is that Google wasn't playing by their own loose rules. They were cutting special deals with Epic so that, they didn't have to pay the same rates, even though they operate this as like an open system, and they say that, this is a free thing. Well, unlike Apple, even though they're cutting the same sort of backdoor deals that nobody else has access to.
Huh, interesting. Some good context on that story. I don't know, something to keep an eye on. And I was surprised to see this, because Apple won their lawsuit, as I said, and now Google lost. And it's like, oh, what happens now? You have two courts saying two completely different things. And these are going to have widespread ramifications across all of tech, and not just for Apple and Google. All right, let's see here. Before we move on here, Griffin, we're going to talk about how Apple is being forced to open up NFC by the EU. But I want to talk about one of my favorite things. Oh, baby, here it is. Just real quick, I want to talk about Factor and Factor's delicious foods. I love having Factor around the house. Oh, just thinking about that delicious Factor gets my appetite going loose. You know what I'm saying? Treat yourself to high-quality, delicious meals over the holidays with Factor. Choose from 35-plus chef-crafted meals every week that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences, whether it's calorie smart, vegan, veggie, Protein Plus, that's what I get, and more wholesome options. Factor delivers, I would say, restaurant quality meals right to your door. They're all pre-made, and they're never frozen. You just heat them up, and within minutes, it takes like 3 minutes to heat them up. You have a delicious restaurant quality meal at home. And when I say restaurant quality, That's what I love about the food that they've sent me. I've eaten every single meal that they've sent me, and they're usually gone within days. The Protein Plus is the one that I get. It's just a big old hunk of delicious meat. It could be chicken, pork, beef, slathered. And I mean slathered. I mean, you could barely even see the hunk of meat underneath it. Slathered with sauce on top of a big old mound of veggies. It's like paleo type food. I always call it man food. It doesn't make you sleepy. All that protein just gets you ready for that session at the gym, and then the session in the steam room where you get to see your nude postal worker again, and you're like, oh no, you're in here again? How do we keep running into each other? I wish I hadn't gotten so swole because of Factor Foods. Look at me. Anyway, it's a great before meal or before workout meal, after workout meal. It's not going to spike your glucose. It's just a really, really easy and fast, delicious way to have meals. If you want to try it out yourself, they're giving us a great deal to try it. I mean, food's so expensive right now. This actually is a really terrific deal. Head to factormeals.com/CultCast50 and use code CultCast50 to get 50% off. That's code CultCast50 at factormeals.com/CultCast50 to get 50% off. I need to contact Factor and say, hey, when's my next round of meals coming? Because Papa E's getting hungry. I bet Lewis is feeling hungry now too, huh?
Well, I already ate, but I can always make an exception.
I always got extra space. I always got a little extra space in case something good comes along. All right. Well, thanks to Factor for supporting this episode. Should we talk about NFC before we dive into the topic du jour here, Griffin?
Are we going to skip the iOS security story?
Where is it?
It was above the giveaway. I think we skipped it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, we should do that. We should definitely do that because that one was interesting. That was probably one of the most interesting stories of the week. We probably should have led with that. But we didn't, of course.
We just made them wait for it.
There you go. That's a good way of thinking about it. But this is actually really interesting, so I'll send it to you. Go ahead. Or who's doing it?
Sure. How Apple plans to ramp up iOS security for stolen iPhones. This is a follow-up to a story that broke earlier this year. Joanna Stern at the Wall Street Journal had this big piece about how there's this like ring, like this network of people in big cities who have these like complex operations where they spy on people in bars or in public settings, suss out what your passcode is on your phone, and they have a variety of ways of doing this. We spoke about this on the show. They'll figure out what your passcode is by like shoulder surfing. Then they have somebody else like nab it out of your hands, and before you can even turn to your friend and say, hey, let me sign in to Find My so I can put my phone in lost mode. Before you can even do that, the thief has already gone straight to settings, iCloud settings, wow. And then they reset your iCloud passcode because you only need your iPhone passcode to be able to do that. And then once they've done that, like you're completely locked out of your iCloud account forever. They hold your phone hostage. You know, they sell it for parts online, and then you can never get your photos or your messages or your entire digital history back. Like really tragic stuff. And Apple at the time said, well, you know, this stuff is hard. We want people to be able to reset their iCloud account using their iPhone passcode because a lot of people forget their iCloud thing. So, you know, it's kind of hard, and they sort of threw their hands up. But now in iOS 17.3, we finally have a solution for it. It's a feature called Stolen Device Protection. The option makes it harder to reset the passcode on a stolen device if the thief already knows the current passcode, and there are also new password protections. So, more background. Basically, the change they've made is that changing the Apple ID passcode requires Face ID or Touch ID and a waiting period. It can't be changed quickly to keep that restriction from being burdensome because, you know, maybe you need to change your iCloud account password and you've forgotten it, so you want to use your phone passcode, but, you know, maybe you're wearing a scarf, or maybe you've had facial reconstruction surgery, and so Face ID doesn't work, and you want to use your passcode.
Maybe you swapped faces with John Travolta. So
yeah. Maybe you're honestly trying to change it. But you have to wait an hour to do it before it'll let you change it, and it'll only let you do it if your iPhone is at home or at a work, like a known location. So The idea is that if you're in a bar, somebody steals your phone, they try to change your passcode. Well, their face won't match, and they won't let you change it because you're not in a safe location. And the feature requires Face ID to access saved passwords as well. So they can't use Face ID to figure out your bank password and steal your credit cards or whatever. The same reportedly goes for erasing the device, accessing saved credit card info in Safari, applying for an Apple Card, and more. Stolen device protection is optional and must be activated by the user. But from what I've heard from people who've installed the 14.3 beta, or maybe Apple confirmed
17.3 beta. 17.3 beta.
Oh,
you just said 14.3. I was like, "Oh, you're taking it back."
I don't know where that number came from, but supposedly when you install the update, there'll be an onboarding screen that'll encourage you to turn it on, and I think I definitely will encourage everybody to turn it on when that feature
I think I'll turn it on too. It always surprised me that so sometimes I need to get a password for my wife's account. And I'll go in there, I know her passcode, and I'll just go in, and it's like trying to Face ID me, right? It doesn't work. And then I just use her passcode. And it's been surprising to me that all I need is a 6-digit code, and I can access anything that she would want to keep secure. Passwords, accounts, I mean, you name it. Mm-hmm. And hearing the story about how people are getting their phones stolen and their passcodes are being stolen along with it, I mean, not only would that be your phone, it's your entire digital life, your identity. They can change, once they have access to your email, they can change all your passwords for any account that you own. I mean, they could steal anything from you. I mean, this could be an utter disaster for your life. So this is a really ingenious way of protecting it. So it seems like the extra protections only turn on when you're not at home or when you're not at work. Mm-hmm. So if you're at home, which is usually where I would be if I were going to be changing my passcode or something, you won't even encounter these security features. So really the thieves are going to have to come break into your home. So really Apple's incentivizing the thieves to follow you home and do it there first. So now they're not going to steal your phone at the bar. They're going to come to your house and do it at your house.
Which is lower yield. There's dozens of people at a bar, but only one person at home. But I've heard other people saying that maybe they should make the at home free zone. They should make that an option because if you're in an abusive relationship, the spouse probably knows your passcode. They could still do this if you're at home as well, even though the Face ID doesn't match. That'd be another step to cover yet another edge case. But I think this is overall a great solution to the problem.
Yeah, agreed. Very well thought through. Okay, let's talk about the NFC thing too before we dive into the best and worst of 2023, because I thought this was interesting as well.
Another surprise from the European Union. They actually know how to regulate big tech companies over there. The days of iPhone's NFC capabilities being limited to just Apple Pay could be coming to an end. Apple is reportedly open to allowing other systems to use the wireless payment system. So right now you can use an iPhone and Apple Pay to make a transaction at a store, a restaurant, or online. Actually, doing it online doesn't use NFC, but the connection between the two devices happens over NFC, which stands for near field communications. And the tap and go process is very convenient, especially as many shoppers and businesses move away from cash. But you can't use that with other payment platforms like Walmart Pay or other stores that have their own thing that they want to push you to use. Apple doesn't allow it. The EU formally objected to this policy in 2022, stating that it stifled innovation and prevented competition in the mobile wallet market. And on Tuesday, Reuters reported, Apple has offered to let rivals access its tap-and-go mobile payment systems used for mobile wallets, three people familiar with the matter said. The European Commission is allegedly weighing the offer and will look from input from other makers of mobile wallets.
Dang.
So
coming at them from every direction, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the EU. You're going to have alternate app stores. You're going to have your own different ways of paying. And now NFC's being opened up. There's going to be a lot of extra stuff that you can do in the EU that you're not going to be able to do here in the US. I kind of wonder how Apple's handling this. If they basically created a branch of iOS for EU, and then the other branch is for everyone else who doesn't get all the cool features. And
it'd probably be the same version of iOS. They'll just have those features region locked behind whatever region you have your phone set to, because there's already a lot of changes around the whole world. In Russia, if you're setting up an iPhone, the Russian government requires an extra step of part of the iPhone setup process where they encourage you to download all these apps like the state news channel and state communications and stuff like that. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy, dude. I can't even imagine. There's a good documentary in there somewhere about all the BS that Apple has to deal with all the different governmental agencies all over the world just to have their products sold there. And like China, Russia, who knows where else. There's all these little things that they have to accommodate just to get their products sold, and they're probably not savory things that they have to do, and not things that they want to do in order to make their products available. That's pretty crazy. Okay, well, there you go. That's the news for this week. I warned you, not the most interesting stories, but I think we did a darn good job putting lipstick on those pigs and bringing you some maybe not popular stories, but some interesting things going on in the Apple ecosystem and things happening with Apple that are not just iPhone rumors. But with all that behind us, the fun is still ahead of us. We're going to do one of my favorite segments that we do, the best gear of the year of 2023. Now, that's kind of a misnomer because we're not going to just do gear. This could be anything that you loved in 2023. It doesn't even have to be something that came out in 2023, but something that you got into and loved in this last year. And then Griffin made it a little spicier. He said, hey, how about we also add the worst thing? And I said, oh, well, there's plenty of those. In fact, we could be here for a whole nother hour and Lewis could just do those things. But we're going to do maybe one of each. Does that sound fair? Why don't we go around and should we do the worst first? Let's do the best first, and then let's end with the worst, because I feel like those will be maybe more fun. Does anyone want to go first?
I've got a good one, so I should go last.
Okay. Lewis, how are you feeling about how you feeling about your choice?
Well, I feel okay about it, although it seems like forever ago that I watched it.
Okay. Why don't I go first then? Because I don't know if mine's going to be the most exciting thing, but I do like it. So this was the year of Matter for me. We've talked about Matter here on the show. Matter is the new connection standard that Apple, Google, Amazon, other tech companies are using to make their IoT devices, their internet-connected devices, more accessible and more compatible with different ecosystems. And it also includes a technology called Thread, which is critical to Matter. Dudes, this is going to be a game changer. It's just so awesome. I don't use that word very often. I've been playing around with some Matter connected or Matter compatible devices. In fact, Best Buy has a sale on some. Let me see if I can bring this up. So I just bought this. They didn't even send it to me. I should ask them to send it to me. I've been playing around with this TP-Link Tapo Smart Wi-Fi Outdoor Plug, and I've also been playing around with their indoor mini plugs. So what makes Matter so cool? Well, Matter is compatible across all the different companies. So whereas before you had to buy a device that was compatible with HomeKit or with Google or with Amazon, now you buy a device and it's compatible with everyone, which is great for us Apple people because the HomeKit accessory market is garbage. There's just not very much stuff. And what is out there is usually expensive because of the licensing fees. And so what this means for us is way more accessories, and they're not going to have like these huge price tags attached to them because of the Apple tax. So way more compatibility. But even more than that is Thread compatibility. Thread compatibility essentially lets these devices talk to each other and act as routers. So with HomeKit, your device that you want to control has to be near the HomeKit hub, either an iPad or an iPhone or your Apple TV. Well, that's great, but a lot of devices that are outdoors or in a distant reach of your house are not close to the hub, and so you will get intermittent reliability or no reliability. The device just won't work because it can't be communicated. It can't communicate with the hub. With Thread, which is included with Matter, anything that's plugged in can act as a router. So the devices will speak to one another, and they'll transmit your message or the message coming from the hub back to the hub. So they can be controlled no matter where they are as long as they're within reach of another Matter device. and it works so much better. My back porch lights, which have failed to turn off for months now because my iPhone wasn't close by, suddenly work perfectly because these devices now will communicate with each other, and they also will figure out the fastest route of communication between your device and the hub. And so reliability is now rock solid, way farther reach, so you can have these devices work wherever they are in your yard, in your house, and the prices are coming down. The compatibility is way better. I mean, it's just win. It's the rare triple. Win, win, win. There's not many of those these days, but with Matter, there's just nothing that I've seen that isn't just way better than the previous method of having everyone do their own thing and walled gardens everywhere. I'm actually kind of shocked that Apple went for this. It doesn't seem like something that they would do, but now you can buy Matter gadgets and have it work with all of your technology. Now, the one thing I should mention is Matter isn't ubiquitous yet. A lot of companies are still waiting to roll out Matter support to their devices via software updates or introduce it in new technology. But it is available. Like I said, I just bought these TP-Link smart plugs, and they work perfectly. I really like this outdoor smart plug because it has 2 plugs that you can control independently. And I'm still testing this stuff, so this isn't really a review of the TP-Link Tapo smart plugs. I still have to play around with them. But so far, they've been outstanding.
Wow,
and
$17.99.
Well, that's for the outdoor one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and this triple pack, which is why I bought it, $22.99 for 3. It's a pretty darn good deal. Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, if you're
there
interested,
was a time when, I mean, not that long ago, you were paying at least $20 each, right?
Yeah.
For a smart plug.
And you still can. I think Best Buy is the only one selling these at a discount.
That's a nice
brand new technology. Yeah. So that's my plug for 2023. Matter, absolutely killer new functionality, rolling out to routers, thermostats, plugs. I mean, you name it. It's rolling out across the whole ecosystem of the Internet of Things, IoT, and it's just going to make everything way better, way cheaper, much more compatible. It's awesome. All right, Lewis, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a TV show. This one's called The Last of Us. I think maybe we've talked about it. Oh,
yeah, okay.
Have you watched this thing? I don't think you did.
I have not watched it yet. It's been on my list, though. It's been high on my list. I've heard mixed reviews.
It came out early in the year. It seems like ages and ages ago that I watched it now, the first season. It's an HBO original, which, of course, means you watch it on Max. Stupidest name change. That's one of the stupidest things of the year.
I agree.
So it's, if you're not familiar with it, it's a post-apocalyptic series about a guy transporting a young girl across the United States 20 years after a pandemic caused by a kind of crazy fungus that infects people and turns them into monstrous creatures. It's based on a 2013 video game, which I've never played.
I haven't played it either. It's been sitting back here in my queue for about 5 years.
2013. So anyway, this is the rare video game adaptation that turns out to be great. I mean, it's a great show. It stars Pedro Pascal, a.k.a. the Mandalorian, as Joel. He's the smuggler who's tasked with taking this teenager named Ella, played by Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones, getting her across the country. And I don't know if it's really a spoiler. I mean, the kid has some immunity to this disease, right? And that's why. So you need to get her to this place so they can maybe come up with a cure, right?
Okay. But I did not know that. Spoiler alert.
I think that's pretty well known. Anyway, it's TV show. It looks great, great writing, acting's great. To me, it took me back to the first couple seasons of Walking Dead before that show turned to crap.
When did it turn to crap? I'm behind on Walking Dead. I got to Negan, and then I was
when it turned into a soap opera with zombies in the background.
Yeah,
I don't know when that happened. Season 2 of Walking Dead is one of the best seasons of any show I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean that show was awesome when it first started out, and this show is that same kind of thing. It's building this world of this post-apocalyptic world, right? And it reminded me a lot of that. It's also a little bit like The Road, if you ever read that book.
Oh, dude.
That was a great.
I didn't read the book, The Road, but I saw the movie, and it was one of the most poignant, powerful heartbreaks I've ever seen on the silver screen. I've wanted to go back and watch it, but it's so terribly sad that I can't, and bleak, and hopeless and awful that I can't even get myself to go see it again. But it was such a great movie. Like, if you like post-apocalyptic movies, it's one of the best that's been made. But it's so sad that I can't even get myself to go back and watch it, even though I love it.
Read the book. The book was great.
I tried, but I found it very hard to follow.
Too many words.
Yeah.
Too many words.
So many words. We don't like words.
Anyway, the thing about this show, the relationship between the guy and this young girl is interesting, kind of like that relationship between the people in The Road, right? It's just kind of poignant, and I don't know, I thought it was a great show. So if you haven't watched it, I say
it's high on my list, man. It's high on my list. And you just reminded me of another show that maybe I think next week what we need to do, because there's going to be hardly any news next week, is we should double up. We should do 2 picks of things that we like and 2 picks of things that we don't like, and then we'll just do that for the whole show, because there's going to be nothing next week. Absolutely nothing. It's going to be an absolute wasteland of garbage.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, be sure to tune in next week. Wasteland of garbage.
No. We're going to avoid the wasteland by coming up with our own dreamscape of actual interesting stuff that we liked from 2023 and stuff that we hated, which is coming up soon. Okay.
Tech news wasteland.
Griffin, what do you got?
Very well. So the biggest change to 2023 is that starting in January, I started working for Cult and Mac full time.
Oh boy, here we go.
When I started here, I knew that I don't know what you could possibly be dreading here. When I started, I knew that I was going to have less time to listen to podcasts and music while I work, because my day-to-day tasks would mostly involve writing, and I'm the sort of person where I just can't write a single word if there's like music playing at all. Here. So I was like, man, I'm probably gonna have to like reduce the amount of podcasts I listen to. I culled a few of them, and that takes priority of the music that I listen to. So less time for listening to audio content. Well, in the past few weeks, I've had more opportunity to drive around alone, because a lot of holidays going on that'll continue through the end of the year. So I've now caught up, and I'm listening to more of my music these days, and music, it's pretty great. That's my pick for 2023. The concept of music.
Okay. Wow, that is broad.
You put on a great tune, makes you feel things. Takes up a whole drive. This year I've been building up some playlists in Apple Music. For a variety of moods. I have a road trip playlist, a sad playlist, a party playlist, a lot of stuff. Music, it's pretty good.
All right. Wow. Maybe we shouldn't have had him go last.
What are you talking about? Music is wonderful. I would take music over a smart home or The Last of Us, a show I've never seen.
Oh, well, I mean, look, music is an integral part of the best content that exists, right? I mean, the music makes the content. Imagine Indiana Jones without John Williams. It would have been a movie that half the people saw, or Star Wars, right? I mean, hey, look, I'm with you on music. I love music. I especially love movie music and show music, because it just adds like this extra dimension that you wouldn't otherwise have. Is there anything else that you had? I thought maybe I'd cut you off.
Well, I guess if I were to turn this into an actual product thing, I'll talk about the speaker that I use on my computer. This is let me bring it up here.
All right.
This is.
Oh, it's heavy. Holy, what is that?
This is the speaker that I. Yeah, that's basically what it is. I got it from my neighbor Al, who works on guitars, and he said, "Hey, I have this amplifier.
It's a Roland amplifier.
Said, sure.
It's like a giant square bass amp or something."
Yeah, I think it's
You play music through that?
It's called the Roland Cube 30X. I just headphone jack out of my Mac Mini that sits under my desk, and it sort of acts as a foot stand too, because it's giant and blocky. It's not a HomePod. It doesn't do beam forming around my room. It doesn't.
It's to goodness guitar amplifier that he's listening to music out of.
Yeah, it doesn't.
HomePods.
it doesn't scan the room or anything. It's just a giant speaker that goes forwards. It's not even stereo. It's just one line. I have mono audio set in the accessibility settings on my computer. Just blasts audio directly into my face.
Wow.
That explains the hairdo.
Now we know the secret,
like
Lewis.
It's just like that Maxell commercial from
That's right. That's how he does it. We've learned he inadvertently gave away the secret. Loud music blasted right into your face. Okay, so you're listening to music.
It's so loud that I just have. It's so loud that I usually keep my Mac on like the pretty much in the top 3 notch, like the first 3 notches of volume, like the bottom 15%, and that's loud enough.
Griffin listens to music on a electric guitar amp. Now that's something that I've never heard before.
And
it has all these settings where I can turn on like these warbly sound effects, so like
put some reverb on
echo.
there.
Yeah.
Running through the tremolo.
Yeah, I do that when I'm editing the show, and I've received no complaints of my editing of the show.
Well, the only complaint that we get is that it's not loud enough. That's it, and the content itself.
Well,
but of
sounds
course,
plenty loud to me.
Yeah, well, that happens when you have your volume turned way up. The key to getting the volume right is to turn your volume down as low as you can while still hearing it, and then turn up the levels as high as they go, so that you're not peaking, but the listening volume is appropriate. It sounds like it is balanced. Like that. That's the key that I've learned.
Oh, Pasha. Our listeners just need to listen to it on a Roland Cube 30X guitar amp.
Well, that's the problem. You're not listening on 150
it's designed
amp
to be listened to.
I have to disagree with you. I didn't design it to be listened to on a guitar amp. I wonder what that sounds like. I wonder how this thing carries voices. Do you listen to podcasts on here?
Oh yeah.
Do you really?
It's the main output on my Mac. Everything goes through here.
That is so funny. I mean, I guess it's a performance speaker, isn't it? It handles music, obviously. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was going to talk about some music experiences I had recently, but I think I'll save that maybe for next show. Okay, let's run through worst of the year, and why don't we just go in reverse order? Griffin, what's just something that you just really just hated this year? Just really got your blood boiling.
So this is the opposite of one of my picks earlier this year that we did on Under Review. I talked about the CookSU X40 like all-in-one travel charger, and so they my one complaint about it. I mean, I don't buy the things that people send me to review, obviously, but I was looking at the price and I was like, man, I really like this product, but I don't know if I would pay like $80 for it or something like that. Not 180, just like regular $80. It's kind of expensive. But so I was really excited when they came out with the CookSU X55, which is a slightly cheaper model. And I thought, hey, send me one of those. I'll take a look at it. I was hoping, well, this is probably just, the same thing, except made out of like plastic instead of metal, to bring the price down an extra 20 or $30. No, it's absolute garbage. I don't know what they've done to this thing, but like, first of all, it's like 3 times as thick as the other one. It's like creaky. It doesn't like sometimes when you're adjusting like the different levels, like it's one of these chargers that unfolds. Like you can literally hear the plastic like creaking as you're undoing it or wiggling it around. The Apple Watch charger that's built into it is like just garbage. It's like just sort of flips off, like no good action on that. It's terrible. I don't really like it. I think this is kind of crap.
A regression in every sense.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the dumbest thing. The cable that comes out of it comes out the side, not the back.
Yeah.
Which is just what are you thinking?
for maximum annoyance.
Yeah.
They built the entire product just to annoy Griffin, and it succeeded.
Like you can't fold it up right. Like it's still you fold it down and then it still has like this wiggle on it.
It has like a weird spring tension built into it or something.
Yeah. It's the hinges aren't like a single action hinge. Like there's like a separate hinge piece between each layer of it. So it has this bizarre folding mechanism. Like it's possible to fold it where you can't actually put your phone on the MagSafe thing, because if you unfold it such that like the hinge is going behind the bottom layer, then you can't attach your phone to it because the hinge is in the way. It's a stupid piece of design.
We need to do We need to do segments like this more often where we talk about the products that we don't like. I tend to shy away from doing that because I'm like, I don't want to roast a company, because sometimes a company just has a miss, right? They'll have like a whole line of great products and then they'll have one that's not good. And when you roast it, it could damage their reputation, but sometimes the products deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, they're just so bad. It's like, what were you thinking releasing this product? Maybe you weren't thinking. I'm going to help you think more clearly next time. It's kind of a fun segment. All right, Lewis, we're going in reverse. I got it in reverse. I punched it. What do you have?
I would say the worst thing that I've dealt with this year is, and we were talking about this for the show, predictive text in iOS 17. Utter garbage. Been garbage for years. Worse than ever now. Can't get the punctuation correct. Can't get common names. Like, if I say Lewis, what might possibly be the next word that I would say? Typically, it might be Wallace. Never on the autocomplete. For some reason, it started putting the word darts in parentheses every time I say it. I even went in and pressed delete the existing vocabulary, and it still put the word darts in parentheses. I put in, I try to say SEO, SEO optimization. What does it say? SCO optimization. Why? Why is that a word? Why does it say that? Why does it say it over and over when I say SEO? I could rant all day about this. I think it's, hands down the worst thing about my iPhone. And if Apple can't fix that, I don't know. The fact that it just keeps getting worse is shocking to me. And I can't believe that the person who runs that department at Apple, I'd love them to call me personally because I'd like to hear an explanation.
And it's been terrible for such a long time. They just can't seem to fix it.
It's pathetic. And, don't get me started on the other stuff. We were also discussing for the show, right? Like, now Siri is so much smarter built into everything. And, you got the little universal search. You start typing in the name of your app, which, frankly, I mean, it's a great feature that I use. Like, you type in the first two letters and it pops up the app you're looking for. But, as we were saying, so many times these days, you're getting ready to tap the app you want that it correctly identified, right, and it moves a different app in there.
A split second.
Always the splits. It's like it's got a proximity sensor. It knows, the finger's going to be there in 0.2 seconds.
Quick.
Put the different app icon in there so they open the wrong app. I mean, those things are not helpful. And if Apple really thinks they're winning the AI game by making this stuff smarter, they are not. It is annoying. And it makes my iPhone harder to use rather than easier.
There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. Much, much, much room. I want to give a quick shout out to Adrian Rods. I'm going to try and say this. Rowdaskal. Love the show, guys. Been a loyal listener since episode 4, Lewis. With the 5 pounds. Thank you for the £5 there, Adrian. Episode 4. That is... I mean, you're an honorary member of the Gov Club. You haven't been here since episode 1, but you only missed 3. And the first 3 probably weren't that great. In fact, I'd say maybe the first 300 maybe. But that means he's been listening to the show for, I don't know how long we've been here.
A real long time.
13 years. 13 years. My, oh, my. Yeah, thank you for that £5. And more than that, thank you for just letting us know. That's pretty cool. I always love hearing from the members of the Gov Club, because I don't know how many we have, but I do know that there's, people out there who've been listening for the entire history of the show, which is wild to think that we've been doing it for this long. So thanks for letting us know. Was there anything else on that, Lewis, that
you want me to go more?
Actually, no, I retract that question. Oh, man, I could do, like you guys, my list of things that annoyed me terribly is long and deep. There's so many things I could pick from, but the thing that I actually didn't even think about until this very moment comes from Level Remix from the chat. Airfon is HomePods on the list this year. And I would say, after being with the Gen 2 HomePods for, how long have they been out now? 8 months? I would probably say, I think so. Now, I will immediately temper that comment by saying the HomePod 2s are not terrible, but they're not special. And that's the part that really is tragic. Apple took a really magnificent product, the HomePod, which had this effervescent, sparkling, beautiful golden audio, my two beautiful angels. And instead of improving on them and making them easy to fix after they bricked themselves, they took out two of the speakers and they just made them more generic. They sound like good speakers now and not like transcendent speakers anymore. And I think that's terribly sad. And I get why Apple did it. They're probably trying to create some cost savings and still keep the speakers on the market. But they just don't sound nearly as good as the original HomePods do. They have lost that magic, and I don't even know how they did that because they still sound good. But I don't think the Dolby Atmos sounds as good. I don't think the music reproduction sounds as good. And yeah, they're cheaper, but what you lost is worth more than the money that you get discounted on those products. Like for now, I would legitimately consider going with a different solution, like from Sonos or something, especially considering that Sonos is going to be creating their own streaming set-top box to compete with Apple TV Plus, and their speakers will work with it. I mean, the unbeatable feature with the HomePods still now is the fact that you can connect them to your Apple TV and use them as your TV speakers. That's not something that you can do with any of the speakers. And that's pretty valuable in my opinion because you could use them for music, but then you can also use them as your soundbar essentially. And they sound terrific, but they don't sound magical. And that is sad. I really hate what they did with the HomePods. I also hate that they didn't make the HomePod originals repairable. And a lot of people are having problems with them, including me. And I've never had a piece of technology that I can recall be perfectly usable and then all of a sudden just brick itself. Like, I don't think that's ever happened to me. And the fact that Apple isn't able to fix that is so frustrating and so baffling. It's like, how did you not create a way to log into this product without using Wi-Fi? If the Wi-Fi stops working, as happens with devices, you can't plug it in and actually like work on it. How is that even possible? So it's like they designed it. There's such a huge design flaw built in. That's the other disappointment. There's other Apple products I've been disappointed with this year that I will probably save for next episode. But yeah, I think that's fair to say is like, what a disappointment, man. Like I don't even recommend the HomePods to people anymore. I still think that they're good products, but there are other good products out there that I think are worth trying, especially from Sonos. The Sonos Era 100 or the 300s, I would be really interested in using. And the 300s, I think you can use as speakers for your TV, although I don't think it's as seamless as... They should have made me product manager for the HomePods, man. There's so many things that they could have done. We talked about them on this show. HomePod subwoofer, HomePod satellite mode, so you could buy 2 more HomePods, put them behind you and have true surround sound and not just emulated surround sound. And that would have given them more value in the marketplace so that you could justify the price point and still had that beautiful, pristine audio. I mean, there's so many things that they could have done, and instead they just pulled them back and made them worse and then lowered the price. And that sucks.
I still haven't heard the second gen version.
Don't go buy them.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna. I mean, I already have 2 that haven't yet committed suicide, so.
Yeah, R.I.P. to the HomePods. Oh, maybe that's taking it too far. They're not bad. They're just not great. They were the best. And now it's just another smart speaker that sounds good. I still think they sound better than the Amazon Echo Studio, but in the pantheon of quote-unquote high-end smart speakers, they were the best. Nothing came close, man. Nothing came close. And now they're close, and they may even exceed it. Okay, I think that's it. Any famous last words before we move on?
Yeah, you should try a Roland guitar amp.
2 of those next to my TV. But even together, they're still just blasting mono. There's no stereo there. It's just one mono blast. All my plants will be dead. My hair will be slicked back, long, luscious, beautiful. I'm going to give it a shot. I just have to go visit Al and see if Al can hook me up with any more speakers, because those things look like they came out a while ago. I'm not even sure they're still for sale. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. We will be back next week. We should have taken a break probably, but we're not, because we're masochists. We're going to just keep going and going and going until the wheels fall off, and that might be soon. But this has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. We don't take breaks. I want to thank everyone for listening, for hanging out live, and for supporting the show. And we will see you guys. Oh, man, it's so far away. Why did I set it up this way? Next time. Next time you guys see me, my hair is going to be 2 to 3 inches higher. Flowing, luscious, shiny. Lewis, you should give it a shot. Maybe it'll stimulate those follicles.
Yeah, I'm sure. That'd be great.
Or maybe you'll just have like a goatee. It's like 1.5 feet long. Long, luscious goatee. Have you ever thought about dyeing your goatee, Lewis?
Maybe some Grecian formula. I think that's right. Show up next week with just a dark black goatee.
That's what I was thinking. You look like James Lipton from inside the Actors Studio. That's a good look. Very metal. All right, everyone. I'm hurtling towards the end screen button as we speak.